Is that Paul Rudd?
Yeah. Good evening, all you minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the uncanny Omar.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah. And today, how's everyone doing? We got a lot of people in the chat already popping up, which is great. I hope you guys are all excited to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5, because a lot of crap went down in the penultimate episode. A lot of reveals and a lot of soul searching. And a lot of parallels that turn out differently for different people. We're going to talk about that too. So yes. And we're also talking about Invincible episode 6. I know there's so much to kind of delve into with this episode, so I hope we get into that one as well. We should. So just giving y'all a heads up. So we'll go ahead and get started because we do have a lot to talk about with this episode. So for those who aren't aware, we will talk spoilers. So be prepared. Yep, Carly. So Carly said she hasn't watched the episode, so she'll catch us later. But thanks for coming on to say
thanks, Carly. Thank you.
Yes, and you're right, Greg. Even a post-credit scene. So there is one on there, and we're so excited to talk about that. It's just going to be, there's just a lot to unpack with this episode, right, Omar?
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about for an episode that I think kind of what I like to consider the calm before the storm, even though it kicks off with a big fight in the beginning.
That you think would happen at the end, so it's kind of interesting.
I'm kind of glad it happened at the beginning. It kicks it off.
No, me too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's start off with that. So, so this episode starts off immediately the aftermath of John Walker killing the flag smasher that he killed that was innocent. Well, innocent-ish, I guess, if you will. He didn't kill Omar. So he's innocent in a way. They were still trying to kill Captain America.
He's a terrorist. I don't think he's innocent.
No, is he? Well, let's see. One person's terrorist is another person's savior.
Somebody's paying attention to the themes of this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So he immediately goes off to hide. Oh, DBC All-Star. Oh, thank you for the super chat. DBC, are you Stephen Ellis? Are you the one who friended me on Facebook?
That's Stephen? Okay.
I never knew that, but that's awesome.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. New condition, Amanda. How thrilled are you compared to Omar about the Harrisburg Captain America? I pray you are both well. Nothing but love. Thanks, man. I'd be more thrilled if it was like a Captain America from Lima, Peru, represent. I'll take Lima, Ohio.
I'm excited because Harrisburg is where I'm from. Like, that's where I grew up and everything. Well, outside of Harrisburg. But to say the least, I'm very excited about that.
Really? Oh, we got another super chat really quick.
Yes.
This is another anti-white, anti-America propaganda piece. Amanda and I? Or
talking about the episode.
Honestly, I do want to talk about that. Because I find that pretty interesting, the way that Jonathan sees it, because I was talking about the theme earlier that while that is one character's ideal of America, it's not necessarily Sam's. So I thought that was really cool about this. One character. That's exactly what Sam did. And we'll get there. But go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, we're going to talk about all the stuff, guys. We're going to talk about Madam Hydra. We're going to talk about the post-credit scenes. We're going to talk about
Madam Hydra. What the hell? Did I miss something?
I mean, Contessa Valentina. I'm sorry. We're gonna talk about the amazing Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which I was not expecting to see in this.
No, me neither.
Oh, okay. Steven has another super chat. Before we jump in there.
BBC All-Star. Go ahead.
Yes.
What do you got?
All right. Thank you for the super chat again, Steven. Well, Omar, with your permission, I do have plans for a character based off of you set in the Marvel Comics universe, complete with backstory lol.
You almost said black story. I heard you. That's
backstory. Well, I'll say it really fast. With complete the backstory.
Thanks, man. So he's super cool, super handsome, super funny, right? Like all the above. Am I with Contessa? like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, maybe. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that would be really nice.
So let's talk about some spoilers and talk about what this episode and how it all led there, kind of out of nowhere, honestly.
Wow, what an episode. Okay, so after John Walker kind of escapes the eyes of everyone watching and kind of hides in an abandoned warehouse, of course, Bucky and Sam catch up with him. And he's kind of going through a little bit of, you know, he can hear Lamar in his head. He can hear, like, why didn't I listen to him? And Sam's like, dude, I know what you did was wrong, or I know what you were upset, but, you know, you got to give me the shield. He's like, this is what it's all about, isn't it? And he's like, this is all set up. And they're like, he's like, you can't take the shield, or you don't want to do this. And then, of course, that's where you got from the scene where Bucky's like, yeah, we do. Then we get an awesome fight between the three of them.
Yeah,
where we get
I just need to cut in really quick because this is exactly the same thing that Sam was trying to do with Carly, trying to talk to her, and then crap happens because he gets interrupted. But it's also his thing. I forgot, like, I rewatched Captain America.
Because he's a grief counselor. He's a counselor.
Yeah, he's a counselor for vets. So that was really cool that he's actually using his one thing he's good at, and he keeps getting interrupted.
Well, the only time he does it is when he talks to Bucky, which we'll talk about because he does do it again later on.
Oh, we got another super chat from my buddy Lionheart. What's up, man?
Spoilers. Yes, thank you, Taylor.
Yep.
Where's Lionheart's super chat? What's up, Amanda? Omar, Amanda, how are you feeling? Omar just got home from my LCS.
That's his local comic book shop.
Nice.
I'm feeling a little nauseous, getting a little, you know, what is that, second term pregnancy? Feel like nesting a little bit. I don't know how you feel, Amanda.
I feel good. Not nesting quite yet, but I'm not.
Not nesting. You better use up that second term because that's nesting. Because third, you're gonna be like,
it's only the 13th week.
Hey, man.
Pregnancy is a long time. October is a far time away. So I've got a minute. So we're good.
Oh, my video is frozen.
Yeah, you were freezing a little bit. I figured.
I don't know what's going on.
MetroNet just isn't keeping it up.
First of all, don't give away my MetroNet, okay? Omar's talking without moving his mouth. I promise I'm moving my mouth. I'm not a ventriloquist. I'm not a ventriloquist.
Well, while he fixed that, let's go through this. Okay, so they have an epic fight scene where the two of them have to come together to fight John Walker. He does end up kind of tearing off Falcon's wings, but there's this great scene where finally they break his arm after they get the shield off of him, and Bucky has him. He's holding him up, and he kind of swings him a little bit, and Sam comes, bam, like hits him right with the shield. It was crazy. So he's down for the count. Bucky drops a shield at Sam, and it's pretty like, that's yours. Don't you freaking let it go ever again. So aftermath, obviously the Global Repatriation Council has entered the fray. Their military is now on scene at Carly's hideout. Of course, Torres is back. So we get this really awesome moment between Torres and Sam where Bucky's going off to deal with Zemo because we know Zemo kind of escaped last episode. Where does he go? Well, he's going to go to the Sokovia monument that he asked them if they ever visited. And of course they didn't. So he's going to go visit it. And of course we get Torres and Sam talking, and Torres gives Sam pretty much, you know, they've claimed jurisdiction. We're out. We're kind of benched for the time being, but I'm going to figure out what we can do. And he keeps mentioning about the Falcon wings being broken. And of course, Sam now has the shield and he's wiping the blood off of it. And as he's leaving, because basically Torres is like, you know, sometimes all we can do is just wait, you know, until there's something to do. And he's like, that's the wisest thing, you know, bizarrely wise. So he goes and he starts to leave, and Torres is like, what about these wings? He's like, you keep them. And I was like, aha, I love it when we set stuff up for the future Falcon.
Oh, is that what you think happened? I just thought he was like giving him some kind of like trophy, like keep this warm for me.
No, we know that Torres becomes a Falcon at some point in the comics. So the fact that he said you can keep them, like we do. If you maybe, I guess it could go a different route, but yeah whatever. You know that's what they're doing.
I'd be selling those things on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, after this episode, there's no way they're not doing a second season of this show. There's no way they have to. There's no way they can. There's so many loose ends and stuff that they're not going to tie up in movies. I don't think so anyways, that I think they're going to have a second season, which I'd be okay with. Anyways, so meanwhile, Bucky does go to Sokovia. Of course, that's where he does find Zemo, and Zemo's pretty much like, you know what has to happen. Carly is radicalized beyond help. You need to terminate her. And of course, Bucky's got his gun. It looks like he's ready to shoot Zemo because, game over. But of course, he doesn't. He does the little, 1-2 punch, and he has the bullets in his hand. And he's like, no, you're going to go with the girls from Wakanda and you get to live out your time there. He doesn't, they don't kill him because she even says distinctly that he's going to live out his days there. So this is the last we've seen of Zemo, which opens him up for him to possibly in other things. And we can talk about that.
What was his point? Like in all of this?
Get him to a certain point and to bring him back. Then establish him later on in other shows.
I'm sorry. That's one
like
that I was
Thunderbolts.
Like, what is that? What was the purpose of Zemo in this other than, hey, we got a dance meme. Awesome. That's it. Like, seriously, he had no business in the show.
He helped them find the person with the super soldier serum. He helped them get to where they wouldn't have been able to get to.
That could have been anybody. It didn't have to be Zemo. It could have been Torres.
Who else would it have been? Who else would it have been?
Could have been Torres. Like, hey, I know stuff. Just saying.
Yeah, he does know stuff, but it's better that it was Zemo. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so then before the Dora Milaje leave, of course, Bucky asked them for a favor, right? And then we don't really know that.
I'm gonna have to use a favor.
Yes,
but then
I didn't know he got favors.
I was gonna say, like, didn't they help him get unbrainwashed? That's not the way it works, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe it works different.
Immortal Iron is right. If it can be anybody, why not Zemo? If it could be. Because it's awesome to make him Zemo.
Because Zemo grew on me because of this stupid show that it's nothing like Zemo in the comic books. But that's a part.
And then Greg said Zemo sets up Masters of Evil, Thunderbolts, or both. Exactly. So if it could be anyone, why not make it someone they can use?
That? You guys are speculating just like the CGC people that told me Wolverine was supposed to appear in this video.
And it did not happen. I was like, I would get my hopes up. But
which goes to show you that anybody can have a YouTube channel that says, hey, Omega Red's coming out in Winter Soldier. But whatever.
I don't think so. So anyways, so then while that's happening, we also have John Walker back in DC, pretty much on trial with the government. And man, I mean, he has a really moving scene, and anyone who's served in the military or anything like that can know that you give your life to the country, and then sometimes they can still just crap all over you. They take away his benefits. They take away a lot of crap, discharge him dishonorably. And he even says, I've done nothing but follow your mandates. Like, I've been like, you have to listen to me, just listen to me. And they won't. Of course, they're like, do not try to be Captain America. Do not pick up the shield, return it to us. I guess they don't know that Sam took the shield. So that's going to be a interesting thing. And Greg
doesn't even belong to the government at all. I felt bad for him.
Well, we find that out. So Greg said he felt bad for him. He should have had his chance to speak his piece.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hey, man. You gotta flirt on your own time, dude.
He's downstairs eating the dinner I made him. Thank you.
She's paid time right now, man. Come on now.
He's watching Invincible right now so that he can get on a little bit and listen to us talk.
Okay, Invincible.
Anyway,
yeah, that was a good scene. I think, like I said, this episode felt like the calm before the storm because everything is kind of just laying low and just having fun. Like Dean said he had a problem with them on the boat. I happen to love that because that's the kind of stuff that I've wanted for this show. I wanted stuff like that. That's kind of the cabin scene from Age of Ultron, which
that's what I was thinking. Yes, it was without the weird Hulk Black Widow stuff.
Because seriously, like without that, it's just the action. These are also regular people. We forget that Sam is a regular dude. He's not a super soldier, despite of how good he can throw that and how much workout you do. You can't throw a shield like that. That's ridiculous. Like,
I don't know. He's pretty.
Sense. All right. So what happens? Where we at?
Yeah. So after he leaves his trial, basically, or his military,
and it wasn't dishonorable discharge, right? It was something else. Like they called it something else. Is dishonorable and other than honorable? That's what they said. Other than honorable.
they're not necessarily the same thing. My husband can explain it better than I can because he's had to deal with that with certain soldiers before. So if you're not getting an honorable discharge, then yeah.
It can't be good. Great, like neither one.
But it's not great. But it's not, I guess, the possible worst thing it could be. So, and of course they did it because of his prior military record. So they were like, we're not going to completely but they did take his benefits away and a lot of their stuff. So that sucks for him and his wife. Anyways, so then he's out there talking to his wife, and then we get a cameo by someone who I was not expecting. Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Elaine.
Well, no, Veep. Oh my God, that's Veep.
I'm sorry. You go and ask anybody who she is. They'll tell you Elaine. Well, depending on their age.
Yeah, no.
They'll say Seinfeld.
But a lot of people love Veep. You can't.
Don't get me wrong. I liked her in Veep. I'm just saying she's Elaine. She had the classic dance, the quotes.
It's Elaine. Yes, she is. So I read that she actually and may still make a cameo or was supposed to be introduced in Black Widow, the movie, which theoretically should have come out before this. And this is one of those cases where COVID might have messed some things up. So she may end up having an introduction or cameo in Black Widow, which would have been, I guess, her first appearance. So now it's no longer really a first appearance. So we'll already kind of know. So I guess that's kind of spoiled as far as if they don't edit that out, which I don't think they will if they planned on using it. So we'll have to see what they do. But originally she was supposed to be in Black Widow, and she still may be, they still may keep her scenes, even if she, showed up here first versus there.
Okay.
So that'd be interesting to see going forward. But
she introduced herself as
Contessa Valentina, or Val, but don't ever call her that to her face. And basically she is just telling John, I know everything about you, and I know these guys, I think you did the right thing, but these guys in suits have a thing to protect. And so when I call you, you're going to pick up the phone and answer because we need to have a talk. And she gives him a card that's blank. And then she kind of leaves, and that's kind of like that. And we can talk about who she is in the comics and everything like that when we're done. So then that kind of ends John's story for the time being, because now we have to get back to Sam, who goes and decides to visit Isaiah. And we get to learn the truth about what happened to Isaiah. And basically, he tells us that during the war, him and other Black service members, and they all were shot up with different versions of the serum, and they took him off. They told him it was a tetanus shot, and they sent him off on different missions, and other guys were unstable, but he seemed to be fine. And then when some of them were caught at a POW camp, they said, let's just bomb the whole camp. That way we'll get rid of the evidence. He didn't like that, so he went in to save them. It's an interesting parallel because if we remember correctly, in Captain America First Avenger, Cap wasn't supposed to go save the POWs at the camp because they said it was impossible and they didn't want him doing it, and where Sebastian Stan's Bucky was at the time, but he still went in and did it, and he's treated as a hero. So it's interesting to see the two parallels of they both go in to save their brothers in arms. One ends up in jail for 30 years being experimented on. The other one leads a highly elite team going in and killing off all of Hydra's agents. So very different parallels there on how the two were treated. You want to chime in to that?
I think this is a very important scene to talk about and break down really quick, because this goes back to what, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember who super chatted about this going.
John, I think.
Social justice warrior, Black Lives Matter, liberal, I can't remember, agenda thing. Because I think it's very important that to note that this is Isaiah's views. Of course, this man is going to think like that. Look at everything that happened to him in his life. Now, the important thing to note is that he's talking to Sam. Sam doesn't share his ideals or views. Sam is his own man. And that's the thing. That's the whole point and theme of this whole series, is that Sam doesn't really know who he is. Like, it's really cool because we see it all here, and you finally get it. You see him as the brother, that he's not there. You see him as the kind of missing icon that is Captain America, that he should have been, and he's not there. Mm-hmm. And then you see him as this black man that is talking to an old black man that was wrong and jaded, and calls it. He called it white man's America, didn't he? About the Captain America shield. Yeah. He said that's the white man's America or something like that.
And he's not the
that was a very very powerful scene, because it shows that Sam is his own person, and he's still trying to figure out who that is. So I thought that scene was really well done, and it brought up a lot of points because you have two difference of opinions. And the same thing happened to Sam earlier, though similar, right? Not to that extent, where the whole thing with the bank. Remember, like they clarify that you and I did not think that was a racist thing, but apparently, according to the showrunners, it was supposed to be. The whole thing about the cop.
The cop was 100%.
I mean, so all of that
Falcon, it was
even though it's all in your face, I guess when they get here, it makes sense why they had to do it, and now it all makes sense because to me, me, I don't like when things like that are in my face. Like
you do not like that, I know.
But
I care one way or the other. But yeah.
But honestly, it makes sense now because it all plays out in this scene. So this scene was very important to me, and it really made the show. To me, better than what it was. Because at first I was like, "What is the point of this? They're throwing in Zemo," and that's what I still stand with that. There was no point in Zemo, so it was just action. And why did Sam refuse the shield? So it was really cool. That scene was very.
But Sam, I mean, we all know that Sam, because he even tells right in the beginning of the show when they have that therapy scene, he tells Bucky, you have to understand why I did it. And, I think Isaiah laid out exactly what Sam was feeling initially, that a black man couldn't be Captain America. Now, the second part of it, and no self-respecting black man would want to be Captain America. But I'm like, no, but Sam should be. Sam does want to be.
But that's the thing. Sam doesn't believe Sam's
that. But originally he thought, I don't know if people would accept me as Captain America, because I think a part of him did. I mean, he talks about his sister throughout this episode about, how the reason he went off and fought, he's like, I'm going to show them I'm better. And not just him as a person, but him as a black man, right? And now he's like, but I got to do this for my family. I got to look out for my own. And I think that's partly why he's like, I need to take up this mantle. Because that's what he talks about with Sarah, which is eventually how we get to the final scenes of this episode, which I was so mad that I didn't get to my reveal I wanted, but that's fine. I get it. We got one more episode. So
okay, we'll talk about what your reveal that you wanted was. But for me, this probably was one of my favorite scenes in not just this show, but in the MCU. It was good. I liked it.
There's a lot of truth behind it that I think we sometimes don't see in the MCU. So it was interesting to see it.
If you take a step back, you're looking at two angles of it, like two sides of the story.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at it from the man that has been jaded and happens to be black, and you're looking at somebody that was kind of a rock star and happens to be black.
Yeah.
So he's seen the other end of the spectrum of this thing, and I thought that was such a cool moment. So anyway, just wanted to not overlook that scene because I know later on we're going to be talking about other things that were pretty cool.
No, I definitely did not plan on overlooking
theories.
I did not plan on overlooking that scene because I did think it was very important, especially if we have people commenting on it.
Me and you, when we get on, we're Thunderbolts, and then we're going to be talking about other things.
No,
I know how I am.
I want to talk about that stuff. I'm not that kind of person.
Oh, anyway, I am. I'll forget.
He decides to call his sister after his talk with Isaiah and go back home. So then you see that he's back in Louisiana. He's working on a fishing net, finds out from because those kids have the biggest mouths ever, that they couldn't sell the boat because their Vietnamese neighbor was pretty much like, that boat costs too much to fix for me to purchase. So no, I'm out. And so he's like, you know what? After he talks to his sister, finds out she's doing all this, like acting just like their mom always was, taking care of people in the neighborhood. He's like, I'm going to call them favors. Our parents had to have gotten favors. We're getting this boat fixed. So then you see a nice little montage of him calling up a bunch of the different neighbors. And I love it because one guy's like, hey, Mr. Falcon, cute little stuff like that. And then you start to see all these guys, all these people coming in to help him fix the boat. And they even get him a brand new engine. And they're like, how are we going to get this on the boat? And all of a sudden someone picks it up. And who is that person? It was Bucky. So Bucky shows up with and I think someone has said, is that what you mean, Amanda? This box from Wakanda. And I was like, just open the damn box. Oh, that's all I wanted you to open. I know it's going to be an awesome suit made of vibranium, but open the box. So
is it going to be a Captain America suit, or is it going to be a Falcon suit, or is it going to be a Falcon America suit like in the comics? I never dug that suit, even though Alex Ross designed it. I thought, it's so goofy to have Captain America with wings. I never liked it. I think he needs to, anyway. Because
Well,
he has his own Falcon. Why does he need to fly?
Exactly. If he's gonna have tours, he doesn't need to fly. So Bucky plans on. Bucky's pretty much laying some like heavy hints, like I don't really got a place to stay. I mean, I'm gonna go stay somewhere. I'll just catch the next flight, and he doesn't want to be alone. And Sam's like, you don't want to come, help me with this boat and stuff. And he's like, yeah. So he helps with the boat. We have a cute little montage. We also get some nice flirting action.
Finally, Bucky does something other than mope.
Yes, this is the first.
It was good. I like this.
It was. He drinks a Heineken. He flirts with Sarah. Sarah clearly likes him back, because who wouldn't? And clearly. They have a cute little, scenes, and then him and Sam going together. They have funny scenes where Sam's trying to lift this part of the boat up, and he just grabs it with his one hand.
Grabs it with his arm. Yeah. That was
and
nice.
He has a really cool moment that I was like, is there a reason they added that line in there where they were having to fix the tubing because it was kind of the steam was coming out, and he just grabbed the wrench to show him how it was done, which, okay, so Bucky has some mechanical knowledge. And he said, why don't you use that hand of yours? And he's like, well, I always don't think about it because I'm right-handed. I did, like, what an interesting line to put in there. So after the all said and done, he decides, Sam offers him to stay the night at their house. So he goes and spends some time at the Wilson family house, and then the cabin. It's a big cabin, but yes, the cabin.
Beautiful home, man.
Oh, it's beautiful home. Yeah, it's beautiful. And so then they decided to have this cool little like shield throwing scene. It's kind of like they're playing catch, because every time one throws it, the other one catches it, back and forth, and they're having a conversation about it. And then Bucky apologizes to Sam. I didn't realize, I don't think, Steve and I realized. And this is also a hint that when Steve was going to take that shield back, Bucky said, how can I do anything stupid? You're taking all the stupid with you and all that stuff, before he even left to return all the stones. It's clear Bucky did know about this plan the entire time, because he says, when he talked to me about this decision to make you the next, Captain America, he didn't know what it meant for a black man, when we're sorry about that. And he's like, of course not. And he's like, and then they have a conversation about what that shield means to Bucky. So this is a good moment between the two of them, because we get to see Sam again break out his counselor mode, talking about, how Bucky's going to get over his nightmares and everything he's going through. He's like, you're not, you're avenging. You're not, grieving. You're not getting over it. You're avenging.
So you're getting avenged. Yeah,
you're getting avenged. Yeah. He's like, why don't you just, and this is going to obviously, I hope, set up where he's going to talk to that gentleman who lived by his apartment.
The Japanese.
He's like, just give them good news. Tell them, say, comfort those people. Don't avenge, just comfort them. And that's where I think it's going to come in.
When they were talking, he said something. Sam said something like, "Well, Steve's not here anymore." Something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, is it? Wait, did Steve die, or is he not?
That's what
like, what's happening?
Steve is gone, and I'm like, so did he really die? Like,
I need a montage, dude.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
that montage. Thank you for the super chat, brother. That montage. I texted Amanda. I'm like, and I finally got my damn 80s montage with the music and everything. Oh, the training scene, dude. He's doing push-ups, and it's ridiculous, right? Like, it's like Rocky training, like you go to like 5 seconds of push-ups, and all of a sudden he's throwing the shield through the tree.
And he's doing flips with the shield.
Like,
and then
it's
he's running around the house with
it's like, if I work hard enough, I can throw a shield through a tree too, man. I can do it. Oh, I loved it. Loved that.
It was
honestly,
great.
I love that whole scene. This is what I've been wanting. I've been wanting Bucky and Sam to play off of each other. And it seems like finally, when Zemo is gone, and there's no one to fight, that's what we're getting. We're getting some down-to-earth talking and drinking beer and working on the boat. And I know Dean was in the chat earlier saying he didn't like that, but I really like that. It's a nice – that's why I said this episode is like the calm before the storm, because that's what I need. I need – I don't – who is it? I don't care. It's Joss Whedon, but I'll still quote him. Joss Whedon once said that, it doesn't matter – what kind of characters you have. Like, they could be cowboys in space or girls that are fighting vampires. But
Mhm.
you know, it doesn't matter how good the story is. As long as you don't care about the characters, it doesn't matter how good the story is. You're not going to care about the story. And I think that's what was missing from here, because I really didn't care about the characters. And now I'm like, oh, I like Sam's little growth here. I wish they had
Yeah.
done this a little bit earlier. And
It's
I think
hard though because they were setting them up
it,
on a mission.
I
So
know,
that's where it was.
and I get it. I think it could have used tighter editing, this whole series, and I think it could have been done. Well, never mind. We'll get to it. So let's talk about
Okay.
the ending, and then we can talk about some of the
Yeah.
things that a lot of people
So-
are expecting now.
So basically, he pretty much is like, Bucky's like, call me when you need me. Once they got a lead on Carly, I'll come and I'll help you out. We're not partners, we're coworkers
Carly.
or whatever they are. Yeah. So so they kind of part ways for a little bit. That's when Sam, has his conversation with his sister, and they decide we're not selling this boat, even though we fixed it all up. Let's not sell it. Let's make this legacy proud. And this is when he decides, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take up the shield. I'm going to get my training on. And we have that awesome training montage. But we also have our flag smashers. Let's not forget about our flag smashers.
Can we please forget about the flag smashers? They're probably the worst.
So pretty much Carly has, she points out in this episode that yes, she has been radicalized without a doubt. And she, she's ready to go through some drastic measures. We know that the Patch Act is about to take place, the voting on the Patch Act in New York City. So they're going to have that. So the Global Repatriation Council is about to have that. And so they want to do something to get back at everyone for what they've done. And you don't realize that we also have this strange kind of cutscene with and I only knew this because we have our closed captionings on, but Sharon is talking to someone in French with our closed captioning said it's Batroc, which is the gentleman. Yeah, Batrick from the first episode, right? The guy that Sam pretty much foiled his plans. She's talking to him, but unless you are really good at voices or if you have closed captioning, you wouldn't necessarily know, because then later on, when they're in New York City in Central Park, he shows up with some highly destructive weapons to give over to Carly. Basically, he just wants to kill Sam, and she's okay with that, even though Sam was kind of nice to her and just wanted to talk to her, but she's fine with it. And she's ready to destroy everything. So they already got their movement. They're ready to go to take it all down. But this is where we could talk about where Sharon is, because what's Sharon, she's still in Madripoor. She's talking to Batrick. She obviously gave him some stuff. So
I mean,
lead.
We've all known that Sharon
is the power broker. Right.
Did anybody have a second guess? Like, they didn't even bother hiding that at all.
Some people were like, what if Contessa's the power broker? I was like, nope, she wouldn't be here.
No, we'll talk about Contessa here in a second. And then we have
John Walker.
At the very end, Iron Man style, building his own shield. I hate that he painted it the same color. Anybody else in the chat wanted it to be like gray and white, like the old US agent?
He's like, after he visited Lamar's parents, he lied to them and said the guy that he killed was the guy who killed Lamar. And they're just like, well, I'm sure our son will be happy that that man got his justice, even though that's not anything that happened. So he's just all messed up in the head. Then he goes all Iron Man in the garage, basically like Iron Man 3 except minus the cute little kid. And
you and that kid, I swear to God.
I know he's gonna be in it. I can't wait for him to be in the movie.
I actually brought you up today. I was talking to a friend of mine about how you're the only one I know that's excited that this kid signed a 5-movie deal. And I was like, "Oh!" And you were the only one in the theater. And I was like, "Oh my God, Omar! It's what's his face?" And I'm like, "Who?" The Iron Man kid.
I don't know why I'm so excited about him coming in as Iron Lad. Anyway, so then we get our post-credit scene. Not before we get the Global Repatriation Council and our senator being a real asshole, by the way. Do we even need to vote? We already got our troops out there. Let's just, and the other woman's like, we don't want to round them up like cattle. A lot of parallels here, guys. And then, of course, people on the inside who are security guards and stuff clearly are working for Carly's folks, the Flag Smashers. All the lights go out. So now that's all saved for next episode. So is the only reveal I wanted, which is Sam getting the call from Torres. Okay, we got a ping in New York City on Carly, but it could be a VPN. He's like, I got it from here. And he gets that Wakanda box out, and I'm ready for him to open it up. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew that was going to end. I'm not going to get that reveal until next episode. And next episode is probably going to start with Bucky talking to that guy.
Hey. Winter Soldier, okay? He's
Winter Soldier. He's already going to be in New York, so it makes perfect sense. He'll be in New York and Brooklyn talking to that guy, telling him what happened to his son, and then he's going to get a call from Sam, and he's going to be able to meet him real fast because they're already in New York City. Oh, but still, I'm not going to get Sam's new outfit yet. So anyway, that is the episode.
So here's the thing that I've learned about the MCU and holy crap, YouTube channels, is that, man, just to get a click, I really should start a CGC channel, because I was told that Omega Red was going to show up in this. I was told by these are friends of mine that collect CGC books, and then Wolverine was going to show up, and I'm like, where are these people getting information? Is it just based on Matterport? Like, okay, so Contessa,
yes,
let's talk about that really quick because you mentioned something that. She's supposed to be in the Black Widow movie. And I remember texting you and I said, okay, she obviously, Contessa in the comic books is a little bit different. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
let's talk about the character here, though. She gives John Walker a card. It's blank. So is she a character like Nick Fury, but building her own Dark Avengers? Oh, God, I hate using that term. Or Thunderbolts. Because I feel like if they're going to do something like that, and by the way, it seems... Did you get a little bit of Agatha Harkness from her when she was acting? Because, that was a throwback to the way Agatha acted. I'm not saying she's Agatha. I'm just saying that...
No, I mean, I honestly didn't get any Agatha vibes as far as how she was acting. But, I felt like she was some secretive, she must work for the government. She is... I almost thought she was Hydra, and I was like, well, Hydra never dies, right? So they've got to still be around, even if there's a snap and a blip and everything like that. And even if they thought they destroyed all the Hydra bases, clearly they could not have because, it's just, cut off one head and more appear. But then I'm like, well, if she's not, then is she something else? And is she working for some covert, not necessarily good part of the government or people who, so what are they going to do with her? And that goes back to the whole Thunderbolts theory, especially if she now knowing that she is and was supposed to be in Black Widow, what does that mean? Will she be trying to recruit like Yelena or maybe Taskmaster, or is she going to show up with Thunderbolt Ross? Who can say?
I think it's interesting because I remember texting you going, I mean, they could change her character up because
they could.
In the comics, it's nothing, and it's not going to be like the comics. She even acts a little bit different. Don't get me wrong. I think she's gorgeous and she is super talented. But in my head, I always see Contessa as somebody else. What they could do, but I remember texting you going, I mean, they could go the route of Amanda Waller, but would Marvel really do that? Would Marvel go, okay, we're going to make our own Suicide Squad? But Thunderbolts is a little bit different.
And I think yes, because Marvel will still do it. Though James Gunn is doing Suicide Squad too, so I'm sure it'll be great. But Marvel at least will be consistent with, they're okay with it. And we talked about that with the whole Batman aspect of, rich guys supplying all of the stuff to all the team. And that's what Iron Man did. And so they'll be fine. There's always going to be comparisons.
Yeah, so it's interesting that this character was supposed to be in Black Widow because now that's got me thinking she's going to be appearing through these movies and kind of like Nick Fury recruiting her own Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers.
Yes.
Honestly, if they're going to go the route of where are the Avengers,
they have plans for us from what I've heard. So,
and she shows up with her own Avengers, I'm gamed. That's cool.
Me too.
That works with me, man. That works with me.
Her own version of Captain America, her own version of Black Widow.
It's not my Thunderbolts, but it's definitely Warren Ellis's Thunderbolts, and then eventually that became Dark Avengers. My Thunderbolts, I grew up with Citizen V and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. Because honestly, how could you even do Thunderbolts? It's not like the MCU has that many bad guys that would... Damn it, I don't want to spoil Thunderbolts for people that have not read it, so I can't say what I want to say. But I don't think the Thunderbolt comic book story would work in a movie because we don't have enough bad guys. We don't have the plethora of bad guys like we do in the comic books. I mean, especially the bad guys that they hire,
But not yet. But if they start to lead up to it, especially with, well, I don't know how much of the Spider-Man characters you can use given Sony and everything like that. So that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Sony's going to do their own.
Yeah, they're going to lead once they pull Tom Holland Spider-Man. Eventually, they'll do that.
They'll do their own Sinister Six. They'll see how well Dark Avengers works.
Change. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know much about the Thunderbolt history, but given we have TV shows and we have movies now.
That's the beauty of it, that you don't have to. You have the movie history, and that's what works now. She could pull anybody from Shang-Chi or the Eternals.
That's what I was thinking. She could pull from even maybe there's some in Ant-Man, Quantumania. I know you're really excited.
Probably. I mean, Kang is there, right? Kang is rumored to be there. I don't understand.
Doctor Strange 2, no clue who's gonna Doctor Strange 2 just wrapped filming as well. So
is it Nightmare that's supposed to be it? All right.
I'm hoping.
We can come back to this because that used to be like that is our type of episodes we used to do with nothing but just speculation. It's a lot of fun to speculate.
We could always do that. Like, we should just have like an episode like since we're after next week, we do have a little bit of a hiatus on Marvel TV shows. So we can still do Invincible.
What?
I think.
Wait.
Well, because Loki doesn't come out until June.
Oh, I thought it was back to back.
Not. Yeah, I thought it was too, but there is going to be a little bit of a break. So we'll have to wait till June to start Loki, but we can do some we definitely have space now to kind of spend the whole time theorizing.
It's a lot of fun.
Sure, between now and June 6th, so much more will come out, guys. Anyways, but yeah, let's talk about this episode. We kind of intermittently talked about our thoughts, but yeah, let's talk about this episode because I thought it was, one of the better episodes of the season. Even if there wasn't a ton of action in it.
This is probably my favorite episode. I still don't see, like I said, it still has a few faults. One of them being this Flag Smashers. I could care less.
You don't like them at all, do you?
They really should have been done with those characters in the first, maybe second episode. I'll give them that. But holy crap, to make them the villains the entire time. And I understand the necessity of characters like that to show Sam's gifts, right?
Yes.
The whole Zemo thing, fun, but pointless in the end. I don't get it. And finally, I get the dynamic of Bucky and Sam together, and it took this episode to bring it out. And this is my type of episode. Like, no matter how much I hated Game of Thrones, the final season, that that episode where all of them are together in the castle, and you don't know before the big fight with the Night King, the night before, you don't know who's gonna live, who's gonna die. Yes. I love that. I love just sit down scenes where nothing's really happening, but it's just character interaction. So I'm a big fan of dialogue. So yeah, I loved it. I thought this was one of the better episodes. The whole scene with Isaiah and Sam, that worked beautifully. And then just Sam and Bucky on the boat, Sam and Bucky training. It was good. The fight with John Walker, and then John Walker himself, like, I'm Captain America. Like, he's not gonna give up that thing.
No, he's not.
I'm curious to see how this is gonna end. So
I don't think everything can be tied up, though. I can't see them every loose end being tied up. That's why I think if I remember correctly, and I'll have to go back, and someone in the chat, if you've read up on it more than I have recently, they said not every Marvel show is going to have more than one season. I don't see WandaVision because that kind of tied itself up. Her story will have a better arc. She'll have some kind of conclusion, I think, to her story in Doctor Strange 2 with what happened in that end credit scene for her. But with this one, I think they can, I'd hate to see a one and done of this Captain America. That's it. And he doesn't get a movie or anything like that. I would like him to continue on the adventures of him and I guess Bucky, because so for me, and I thought about this more because a lot of people said, where's this interaction? Where's this buddy cop stuff? And then I thought back and I was like, how many times have these two people actually interacted with each other in the MCU, minus the times when in Civil War, right? I mean, obviously in Winter Soldier, they were still enemies enemies in Civil War or in Winter Soldier. And in Civil War, they have some brief scenes, right? But then he goes to Wakanda to get cryo frozen and fixed. And then Sam's with what's his name for 2 years before the events of Infinity War. Then they're both dusted. And then Endgame when they both show back up. So realistically, when I think about buddy cops, typically you think about people who've actually worked together for a long period of time. And I think we get confused. We see the actors together a lot and they work well chemistry wise. But in the story, this is the episode where they actually get to find out about each other. This was their episode to talk to each other. And then maybe they can become better friends. So about the second season, they'll be the best of friends. And by the second season, we get more of what everyone was expecting. Because in this season, we're realizing these two people who they admit it in this episode, their only connection to each other was Cap, and he's gone. I don't know where he is. He could still be on the moon. Who knows?
He's not here.
It sounds morbid. He's gone. Whatever gone means is very morbid and also very vague. But that was their connection throughout this entire series. And so now they realize they have to come together and rely on each other and become friends. And I think that's what a lot of us, we're expecting this immediate, like, oh yeah, we're going to play off each other. It's going to be cool. And at the same time, they don't get that because they haven't spent that much time together. Fixing up a boat like a couple of guys do, having a couple of Heinekens.
That's what we do.
And then
all we do is fix boats and drink.
Fix boats and drinks and Heinekens.
And we play, what is it called? What's that Frisbee thing that was really hot like a few years ago?
The Frisbee
throwing game. Yeah, the Frisbee.
Catch. Frisbee catch was fantastic.
Whatever it was called. Frisbee. Yeah, that's the beer talking. Frisbee baseball, Frisbee golf, Frisbee ball. It was something like that.
Frisbee ball, Frisbee golf, but it's not Frisbee golf. It's not
Frisbee golf. That's it. Whatever. Yeah.
Greg said they put their arms around. Well, yeah. I mean, they're comforting each other, and of course, what's his name is gone too. Cap at this point, he's not there, right? So
we don't know where Steve is. Steve's gone, man. He
was at the funeral. I'm sorry, Steve was at the funeral, but he was at the head. They couldn't be with Steve. He had to be in the front because he's an original Avenger.
Yeah, you can't hang out. Like, that's VIP section right there. For some reason, they let Hawkeye up there. Ultimate Frisbee. Thank you. I knew Philip would know what I was. Disc golf? Is that what it was called?
I don't know.
That's the beer talking. I didn't play it, obviously.
Yeah, but that's what I agree with you. What I loved about this episode was that downtime, that calm before the storm. And I was glad we went back to Isaiah. I didn't want the Isaiah thing just to be a brief interaction with him.
Right. I didn't want to be like, Young Avengers. Like, tune in next time.
Yeah, I mean, and we still got to see Elijah again. So we still got to see Elijah a little bit.
Yeah,
and I thought he was going to come in because he said, I'm going to come in. I'm right behind you, man. But he never did, which is fine. It's probably better he didn't. And I loved, because that scene was good for different parallels, not just between Sam's point of view and Isaiah, but also Isaiah's story versus Cap. And I think that was such an important parallel to bring out, right? Two people who did the almost exact same thing, and one's treated like a hero, the other one's thrown in prison because they don't want, and he's right. Sam shouldn't bring him to light because he might be dead like the next day. Like, so yeah,
what did he say about rewriting history? And he's like, he had a really good line.
That they've been doing it for 500 years.
It's pretty powerful, man.
No, it's pretty powerful, and we cannot say that's kind of accurate, guys. Like,
whoever's running it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm sure if
back to our grading. Let's grade this.
But anyways, I enjoyed it. And then I found out with Sharon. So quick, in case you guys didn't know, the reason we don't see too much of Sharon, except for that episode 3, a lot of her scenes are her call. They're on the phone with her, is because when they had during COVID messed up a lot of their shooting, we all know. And then when they came back to shooting, she was shooting another show. Thankfully, it was in Atlanta, but then that kind of messed up some of their shooting schedules. So they had to bring her in when they could. That's why she's typically like on the phone, and there are not too many of her with them. So if anyone had questions, you can blame that on COVID too. So there you go.
Seems like that's all we do. We blame.
That's all we do.
So despite my, issues with the things that I had, I think I give this an 8.5, 9. It was a solid episode. I had a lot of fun with it, and I expect more. Amanda, just call Steve Rogers. What's his name? Shaking my head.
I know.
Very
I'm
disappointed.
sorry. There's a lot
At
of
least
names in my
she
head.
got Isaiah's name right.
Yeah, there's just so many names, and I still have all the names of people from Invincible running in my head, so we can talk about that.
This is also
So-
the woman that called him Mark Skywalker.
Yeah,
Luke, no, you said Luke Hamill. Luke Hamill.
And you're like,
I was like, who the hell is Luke Hamill?
Well, guys, I know who kind of is. Don't worry. I know who he is.
Why is he looking at? Why is he biting his finger?
I even got a perfect response gift to that.
I love that you did that research. That you went.
Actually, I love that with Tavon's comment underneath it. They look like they're very.
And honestly, this is the way both of them were towards each other for the first 4 episodes. Like the dynamic between them just was not working. But this one, yeah, that's cool.
Thank you,
man.
Greg. I am pregnant, and
Oh please, she was calling him Luke Hamill long before she was pregnant.
He will always be Luke Hamill.
8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10. What would you give it, Panda?
I got it in a 9 out of 10. I love this episode.
Cool.
It was one of my favorites.
Cool.
It might have been my favorite episode. And now that I think more about the,
Dean does not like the boat repair.
Ooh, I'm sorry, dude. The boat repair was so fun.
He was macking on his sister, and Sam was looking, and he was eyeing him too. Sam was eyeing him like, "Don't you hit on my sister?"
He even said, "Don't you flirt with my sister." He's like, "Yeah, I won't."
Look,
and I was like,
10 Luke Hamills and 10 out of 10 Mark Skywalkers.
Mai gave it a 9 out of 10. Her favorite episode yet. I have a lot of talk with the episode, Omar. Scott gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Best episode so far, though. I definitely do think it's one of the better episodes.
Me and Leo finally agree on something. Luke, all right. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Joe really liked this episode.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's a solid episode. So it all leads up to next week. Obviously, we're going to have a couple of showdowns. I honestly think that John is going to try to reclaim his throne. I'm going to be interested to see how that works.
We just become best friends. I love that movie. I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell, but I love that movie.
Anyone, I've been watching this in the chat. So I guess Low Heat and DBZ All-Star or Steven, you guys are near each other or something. Hey, baby. And so you live near each other. So they're connecting. That's what's happening. I've been watching in the chat. I love when people connect. You guys connect. Go have coffee and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, coffee.
Yes. Exactly.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. And 8.5. Here's one. DBC All-Star. Yep, that's me, Uncanny Guy, and Amanda. Wait, I'm Uncanny Guy. No. Wait, dude, next week New York's going to be War Zone. We already had that, man. They done destroyed New York.
I know. New York's just a darn mess. It's just going to be bad, yeah.
Dude, they were like hanging against the dude that had the super soldier serum.
Yes.
Like, Sam. I guess it makes sense for Bucky. He has like a Wakanda arm, but
yeah, exactly.
And also, Bucky had like Russian bootleg super soldier serum, right?
Yeah, he did. Because he got whatever Hydra was giving him or whatever. So
8.5 from Scott. Boat repair. Yeah. Dean's the only one that not a fan of the boats. Thanks, Kenny. Be good, buddy.
All right, so. Yeah, it was a great episode. I'm excited for next week. And
where's my invite, dude? You send me an invite. We'll be there.
He's engaged?
Yeah, man.
Congratulations. Very exciting.
Yeah, y'all need a break over there. Or you just need to move out, man. You need to move out. But then again, you always have a small chance of seeing like Scarlet Witch, Black Widow out on the streets.
Doctor Strange too. Doctor Strange is out in the streets in New York, right? I mean, he lives.
I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. You come to Kentucky, man. You're like,
no one lives here. There's
Cannonball, maybe when he's visiting.
Yeah,
family.
No superheroes living. Cannonball. Oh, that's right. Cannonball's from Kentucky.
Cannonball represent, baby. I was waiting for General Ross's big cameo, dude. I was waiting for Omega Red and Wolverine. I don't even know why. Like, I was like, wait, none of that makes any sense.
I just don't see him hanging out in Madripoor. I think General Ross.
That's too huge. Well, General Ross, I think. No, you're talking about Red
he's
Hulk.
still gonna be like. I still think he's gonna have some type of. He's gonna have to stay connected to the government in order to do his secret agenda. I don't think he's gonna be in Madripoor. Sharon makes a lot of sense, and the way she even acts, like she's not holding her breath. She doesn't really care about getting back to America. I think she is content with the power she has, which apparently is a lot. And this is what I was going to talk about. I forgot to talk about. I think that she's working with Batrick. She's having him work with Carly. And I think she's going to have him turn on her and kill her. Something like that. Because remember, the Power Brokers after the Flag Smashers for what they did. They want her dead. Even though what's his name said it's a he, we don't know if he really knows. And who knows if Sharon took down the last Power Broker. It's been 5 years. Zemo's been in prison. And Sharon's been making a name for herself. So who knows what could have happened. Now I'm just theorizing.
Oh, I love it. This is my favorite part about the show is when we theorize. Omar, does Falcon cap Falcon America? Yes, he does. It's Torres. It is Torres.
That's why it was very exciting when he told him to keep the wing. So.
They both can fly.
Yes.
So, dude, he told him to keep the wing. That means season 2. So you know what that means? I finally get to use.
That's what I'm thinking.
Amanda.
Next
time, baby. Yes.
I really wish that Torres would have said something.
Next time, baby. Yes, I would have loved that.
I would have died laughing.
And I would have loved it if Don Cheadle would have walked up behind him going, "What was that, man?"
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these people we might even see in Armor Wars and stuff because remember that's going to still deal with the government. So
we got Q&A. Amanda, Shadow, and Bone is coming out next week.
I'm glad. I have not read the book yet, so I won't be watching it quite yet. My sister
Leo's excited.
Helped to read the books.
Good week, sharing love. How's everyone doing? Thank you, Immortal.
Thank you,
Pirate Ipsy. Thank you. That's such a dude. Terrence, man. He never got his shot.
It's only sad for Omar.
We need what if Terrence Howard was that's the what if episode I'd love to see.
I bet
Terrence Howard was War Machine.
Yes.
Dude, we got the don't we have the Armor Wars coming out?
Yeah, with Don Cheadle. So there's a lot of these characters could possibly show up in there too.
They need to rectify that. That's what I'm saying.
Again, another place where they can find a villain for their Thunderbolts. So it's all coming together.
I like the speculation based on one appearance. Yo. Keep in mind, we're basing it on one little appearance of Elaine with a card.
And because the Black Widow, knowing that she is it's her first appearance should have been Black Widow. So it makes you even
dude, and that's my girl, right? Florence
Pugh. But I don't know if it'll be her, but I think it'll be Taskmaster.
They can afford her. She ain't won no Oscar.
Well, no, right? But I think she'll be like
replacing
Black Widow and as a good guy. I don't know. Anyways, so we have to go through Invincible too, guys.
Invincible, episode 5. So keep in mind we do whatever 6.
They're always an episode before, because they start.
They did 3 episodes. So we are going to talk a little bit about spoilers. So if you've not read the comic book or watched the show, maybe tune out, come back later. And now, if you've read the comic book, none of this is spoilers. They're just doing things different, which I kind of dig. So,
and since I never read the comics, I can't tell the difference.
So just guys, spoilers. There you go.
Oh, Tavon. Oh, hold on. Wait, Tavon, I want to do yours first. Me too. Amber is just, it's okay. Yeah.
Amber. Who's Amber?
And Amber's his girlfriend. And Scott 9, Mark cannot catch a wind to save his life. It's like Peter Parker. Anyway, so Invincibles.
Amber. Oh. Gotcha.
Yes, Amber, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever she is.
Hey, take care, Scott. Go see Invincible.
Yes, go watch Invincible, Scott. Let us know what you like.
Mm-hmm.
So
go read it, Leo. Oh, Leo don't give a shit.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it because we do have some folks in the chat and watching after the fact who are fans of the show.
Thank you, Maya. Reminding everybody to smash that like button, please. Don't just gently caress it, barely touch it. Smash that like.
Smash it. So our episode opens up with the aftermath. Okay, with the aftermath of what happened in the previous episode, where they had to attack the machine head, that guy. And so so Monster Girl and Samson and Invincible are all in the superhero hospital that Cecil has. And we have a, monster girl. They can't seem to pierce her skin. And then she kind of turns into the monster again. And it's like a whole freak out. She's grabbing doctors and throwing them. And then, of course, our robot man shows up and he's like, okay, I've been studying her. I can help you. And they're like, get out. And she's like, no, you need me to help. So he decides to help her. So he clearly has, he has an affection for her, I'm assuming a kind of fatherly affection. We'll go with that. So he wants to help her out. Mm-hmm. And Mark, they manage to heal, and you get the scene where he's getting worked on, and you see Nolan and his mother, Deborah, and she is clearly upset. You can't hear what she's saying to Nolan, but he just is like stone faced. And we all know that he saw what happened last time and did nothing. So it's like he's trying to teach his son a lesson. Don't get involved in human affairs. You're a Viltrumite. You need to focus on your training. And man, if I could hate a character more, Nolan would be on one of my lists of characters I dislike and hope he gets his comeuppance at some point. So maybe. 6 days, he kind of is in a sleep-induced coma, eventually wakes up feeling good. And Mark, is upset because he realizes he misses dates with Amber. But of course, he finds out that Adam Eve had covered for him a little bit. And so back at school, him and Amber kind of make up and decide to start over fresh. And then in the meantime, his friend William, who we have not seen a lot of since like the first and second episode, he's like, hey, I'm going to go to Upstate University to visit this guy, Rick, that I really have a crush on, that I like. And we're going to spend the weekend there. So I want to go because I think I want to go to college. Like Mark's kind of like, I don't think I want to be a superhero, right? I want to maybe do this whole be a normal guy thing, go to college and everything like that. Now his grades aren't that great because he's been skipping school because he's been doing this Invincible stuff, but that's beside the point. And he decides to go ahead.
There's something important I need to mention about the Invincible comic.
Yes.
Because you're talking about his friend. And I've seen reviews or people talk about how the Invincible comic book is outdated, like because they use certain terminology in a couple of particular scenes, and it has something to do with his friend who's gay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the comic book, it's interesting because like this is what happens in the comic. The comic book, they use it in a derogatory way when his friend is like, hey, I want to when he finds out he's invincible, right? He's like, take me for a flight. Take me. I want to go flying. So he puts him around him and they go flying. And Mark makes a comment that's a derogatory term. So I always thought it was interesting that people were calling it out, like saying that this is aged. It hasn't aged well because of that scene. Now this is also before Mark found out that his friend was gay, though. So in the TV show, like his fifth appearance, like we found out, because I don't think when he first appeared we found out he was gay, right?
No, we don't. And it's obviously a known fact. It's not something that Mark he knows about it. That's the way it appeared to me, that he just always knew that his friend was gay. So obviously they've updated it a little bit for
it makes sense because
and you can't have a girlfriend like Amber. Like
a progressive girlfriend like Amber.
Yeah, not like yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think in today's time you're gonna get jokes like that anymore. So
no, you will not at all.
Yeah. So
anyway,
carry on.
So he decides to invite Amber, and they have a weekend. They want to have a weekend getaway, to go to Upstate University, which is good for Deb because Deb decides that she's going to do her own investigation of Nolan because she no longer trusts him. And of course, Nolan thinks, because Cecil's led him to believe that they are still thinking that Damien Darkblood is the suspect behind killing all of the Guardians, because Nolan had kind of planted some evidence to make it appear that way. Even though we all know that Cecil, I think, thinks that Nolan did it or has something to do with it. But he wants to keep appearances so that Nolan's not suspicious. But Deborah is ready to figure out some stuff. So she tells Nolan she's going to go off and do some shopping and stuff. And he says, I'll go with you. She's like, no, I'll do it on my own. And so she leaves, and he goes and checks his bag of where he kept his bloody uniform. And it looks like it's kind of been replaced and whatnot. And so she takes that uniform to Art, which is paid by Mark Hamill. or Luke Hamill,
Luke Hamill,
which is his tailor, to do some analyzing. So meanwhile, Mark is at Upstate University, and they're in one of Rick's class. Rick is played by Jonathan Groff, one of my favorite actors. He does the voice of Kristoff in Frozen. Yeah, no, for
I was close. I knew it was Frozen, man.
I just said, yeah. Or he was in, he played Lea Michelle's boyfriend in Glee, and he was in Looking, and of course Mindhunter, because that's a fabulous show, which I wish they didn't cancel it. But regardless, he plays Rick, and we're introduced to another character.
Curtis said that in the first episode he talks about Omni-Man being hot.
Okay.
Thank you, Curtis. I totally missed that. Thank you.
Yes, me too. And that's probably because it just was probably one of those lines that I remember in the comic book that you didn't find out until years later when Mark returns. Well, gotcha. Never mind. I'll never forget I said that. One of the comics for everyone like me who's never read the comics. All right.
It's not returns. It could be like at the post office. Anyway, go ahead.
Returns from the post office.
Yeah.
We're introduced to a kid, I guess he's a young man, named D.A. Sinclair, which we actually get a glimpse of him, and I forgot to mention this in the actual opening of this episode, which is where this douchey guy is trying to hit on some girls because he's...
That was a Rick and Morty guy, right? Like, because it sounds just like Rick and Morty. Yeah.
I don't know. I've been looking up his voice actor up, but taken by D.A. Sinclair, and this guy does experiments in like the underground tunnel, like sewer area of the university, like half man, half machine kind of stuff. Yeah. And this is further, brought on when he's in this lecture, and he's talking about how, who cares about enhancing the human body? We need to do something more, which I'm assuming was making part man, part machine kind of stuff. That's where it really is. And he ends up getting mad and leaving the lecture because of it. And they kind of, Rick explains who this guy is. And so you got this, I guess, who is going to be our big bad for this episode, our monster of the week, if you will, which is D.A. Sinclair. Mm-hmm. So then we have them going and hanging out and doing the whole college thing. And while they're all on campus, then that one guy from the beginning of the episode that was taken originally, the douchey guy, by D.A. Sinclair, manages to free himself and tries to escape, gets up out of the sewer, but chaos ensues. He attacks William. He attacks everyone. They're trying to fight him. And Mark realizes, even though Amber's trying to help people and yelling at Mark to come help, he disappears like all of our superheroes who have alter egos that you can't know about do, and comes back as Invincible. And he saves his friend William, who immediately, without hesitation, recognized
you're Invincible.
You're Mark? What? So he realizes he's Invincible. But of course, he doesn't say anything to anyone else because he's his best friend, good at keeping secrets. And Invincible manages to, stop the guy, but then the guy ends up killing himself when he realizes what he's become. And
that was a rough scene.
It was very rough.
Stabs himself through the chest, man.
Yes, very much so. It was really rough. And then as it kind of ends, and then of course Mark's gone, and Amber's like, "Where were you?" And she's all upset and saying, "I can't take this anymore." And you said you'd be different, but you're not. And then she decides, we're not gonna do this anymore. And then they kind of have a breakup scene. And D.A. Sinclair, angry at everything that's going on, sees Rick and realizes maybe he has another chance to try this out. So of course he's going to steal Rick and use Rick for his experiments to make these. I guess in the comics, I looked at, they call him Reanimin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to make another one, to make it better, remove the emotion, right? Because that was a whole issue with this guy who escaped. He still had his emotion and everything that made him human, which is why he wanted to get out and he needed to free himself. So that's what his goal is now. So he steals Rick, while Mark's still kind of figure out where his, what he wants to do. He thought he wanted to go to college, but does he have to stay to be invincible and everything like that? Well, then Rick never returns. So William's like, I gotta go find him. Help me look for him. He's like, no, I gotta find Amber. She's going to a party. I need to go get her. And so he, of course, follows the girl.
Amber was already busy talking to another dude.
Well, that dude had a girlfriend.
But she was macking hard on him. She's like, dude, and he's like, do you have a boyfriend? And she's like, what the hell?
I know, boy, girl can't do. Well, technically they were like broken up, right? And so, but Mark sees all of that, what Omar's talking about when he goes to the frat party, what she was invited to. Meanwhile, William goes to look for Rick, finds his phone, goes into the sewers, and he has captured himself, manages to call Mark just in time. So Mark dons his invincible suit, leaves Amber to go not flirt with this guy anymore. And he has to go and rescue William from the reanimin. And then when they finally take one of the helmets off, comes to realize that one of them is Rick. And even though his emotion's gone, William is still able to get through to him. And then he's able to then help Invincible defeat the rest of the reanimin. And then Invincible knocks the crap out of D.A. Sinclair, like breaks his jaw, like his jaw.
That was awesome. And again, the sound effects on this show.
Yes. This is like,
so good.
Dude, that's sick. Like this is So, and then of course he has to call in Cecil. So that's all going on. And then meanwhile, we still have Deb, who's with Art. So Art has done some of that DNA analysis of the different blood and stuff on the Omni-Man suit and comes to realize that yes, there is other superheroes' blood on it. Then she tries to say, well, maybe they attacked him first. And he's like, no, by the way the blood spatter or anything is, he attacked first. And unbeknownst to both of them, Nolan, of course, is up there watching, knowing, okay, so they've got my stuff. They know what's going on. So we have that going on. And then, of course, Robot Man goes to those clone twins, and they've been regrowing their own version of, what's his name? The guy that Adam Eve's ex-boyfriend, Rex.
Rexplosion?
Yes. Rexplosion. Yeah, they started to because he gave them the DNA, right? The vial of blood. So they kind of have him like already started, and he gets this blue violet that he needs to help Monster Girl, but it's not him. It's his. So he has other androids, right, of himself. So clearly he can be multiple places at once. And he uses that to help heal Monster Girl, and he also, helps heal Black Samson, who said he feels better than he ever did before. So our Guardians are getting healed up. We still have what Robot Man is doing with the clone guys, who are like, we need some assurance, like whatever he's going to hold up in his end of the bargain. And we see what they do later on in the episode. Meanwhile, after, Cecil sees what everything happened like that, we can probably guess that Cecil's going to be using D.A. Sinclair's brain power at some point, because he clearly has some skills in creating these machine men that, while is awful and wrong, even Cecil didn't deny the ingenuity behind it, right? And then, of course, Nolan goes and visits Art after that whole episode with Art and Deb, and he's like, hey, just want to have a beer, and they have a conversation on the roof, and, he talks about, being friends, and you're always good to your tailor because your tailor knows all your secrets and all this stuff. And then there's these looks that pass, and he hands him the last beer, and then it makes me wonder what he do with Art. We never find out, but we do see him return home, and Deb has drank quite a bit of wine, and she finally confronts him, and that's
he's like, you killed all of them.
Yes, and he's like, you're drunk. She's like, no.
Damn.
Exactly.
And so honestly, like the shot of him, like I really was hoping, like, I know this is messed up, like he hurt something just to show the brutality that is Omni-Man instead of just punching a wall. Because I think anybody, especially if you're a Valdivieso, has punched a wall at one time. Yeah. So I was hoping like he accidentally killed something, like.
What could he kill the house?
I don't know, a family pet, like an ostrich or something. I don't know. But I was a little disappointed when it shows and it it zooms out and you're like, oh, he punched a wall.
Yep, he was very angry.
Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. That man hasn't been that angry.
Yes. And then also, we can't forget Adam Eve. She decides that after her spot, her little, side gig at the food kitchen, at the soup kitchen, decides to go out and use her powers for good. So she kind of goes out and creates a little treehouse for herself and is going to save the planet, just do good. So she has, even though her father doesn't want her to go and he's being the usual father.
Wait,
So
not all fathers are the same.
no, yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's something else.
What happened to the family ostrich? Who has it?
No one has. I don't know where Omar came up with all the things he gave us ostrich.
I don't know half the things I say. Oh, yeah. It should have been Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
should have punched Don Cheadle. That would have been great. All right.
Yeah, next. And so then right at the end, we see a couple of teenagers trying to dig up the Immortal's body, because apparently if you drink from his skull, you get his powers.
And then I did like that ending.
Yeah, but then they get interrupted by the clone guys. So clearly the clone guys are going to be trying to steal Immortal's body for some security and assurance for Robot Man. And thus ends episode 6. In a nutshell, with Mark realizing he has to be invincible, and whether or not him and Amber stay together is a whole other story. And Nolan and Deb are having a showdown at some point. Art might be dead, but we just don't know yet. And Cecil is collecting some things that he can use to his advantage later on, I think.
We can have, guys, we could totally have an ostrich as a pet. This is America. Have you all not seen Tiger King?
It's true. Yes, it is.
All
true.
right.
I love Sanctuary. You can have anything. Yeah, go ahead.
Amanda, as somebody that has never read the comic book, how are you? What do you think about the show so far? We're 6 episodes in.
Yeah.
You still digging it? You want to know the mystery? Like what happens? Like what?
Yeah,
what do you think about the show?
I do like the mystery because I want to find out what. Obviously the Viltrumites, he's part of the World Betterment Society. There's something there that you need to figure out. He clearly does not really have any respect for humans. It's getting much clearer every episode. So I still want to find out the mystery. I love how it's a parody of actual superheroes we've seen from like DC, Marvel, from our big two, right? So I do enjoy those parodies and seeing that played out. Because Mark's story is told how many different ways from in different storylines. So I'm really enjoying all that aspect of it. So it hasn't really lost its allure to me at all, even though we're 6 episodes in. I'm still invested in the characters. I mean, I could care less about Amber, honestly, but other than that, I am excited to see where the story goes, where they take it with Mark, and if Cecil, I don't think Cecil's a good guy. I don't know if Robot Man's a good guy, but I'm not entirely sure.
But Cecil in this show plays honestly, I wouldn't have any doubts. I mean, he's testing blood. Doesn't make him a bad guy. Other stuff about him. There's other stuff about him in the show that I just don't know if I trust him 100%. I mean, here's the thing. I know where it's going. But I feel like, so I'm glad that you still have interest in it, because I feel like, oh man, I'm worried that people are going to be like, ugh, okay, the first episode was cool, but this is just another teen superhero movie with like love interest, that miscommunication, and
the middle.
That's what I'm worried about, because Invincible is so much more than that. But you have to get through the rough parts to enjoy the holy shit, I didn't see that coming moments, and the holy shit, did they just do that?
Yeah.
And I feel like we need that at the end of the season, so everybody's talking about it, and then people are like, okay, then I gotta watch Invincible. Now I'm hyped for season 2. And the only way to do that is to end this with one way. I'm pretty sure that's where they're heading, but I think like they're laying it on really thick with the hints that are going on right now, that people are able to figure it out. So we'll see. How many episodes is this?
I think it's 9.
Yeah, it really, 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 really relies on how that season finale goes.
I'm sorry. No, it's not.
I thought somebody said it was 8.
It might be 8, yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, in the show, for a show to succeed, you have to keep people watching, right? Because everything, and honestly, I've learned all this just because I have a YouTube channel. Everything relies on keeping people watching through the ads, through the entire episode, through the after credits. So it's different in the comic, right? Because in the comic, you read it like, oh, next month, whatever. It's in my stack pile. In the show, you got to really hook people to keep watching, or they will stop watching like within the first 5 minutes. I mean, that's this. What is this? The Vine generation of 5 second, 6 second videos, whatever they were. Like that's the generation that's growing. So we'll see what happens. I wish it luck. I think it's going to be a fun show if they go through it. But
I could do with less of the Amber situations, and I can see talking about that. Like someone said I think it was Lohit said his brother didn't like it because it's a little too teen angsty, and I can see that. It's weird because like teen angsty, yes, it's exactly. Blood and gore. It's such a very interesting mix because it's definitely not a CW comic book show.
But when you have anime. I mean, you get better stories in anime, and they move along faster. Okay, do not quote me on that because there's a lot of anime that moves slow. I realize that.
Yeah, I was like, what?
But there is some anime that moves pretty fast, and I think that's what the show needs. So hopefully, the season finale will be awesome. Out of 10, what would you give this episode?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10 because I like the Reanimin storyline, and I'm glad that Deb finally got somewhere.
Okay.
With her search.
Oh, y'all saying it like Tina and Amanda anime. Y'all are crazy.
I don't say it anime. I say anime. Yeah,
you did one day because you were like Tina said it.
Because Tina said it. I thought that's how it's supposed to be. Yes, Luis,
nobody likes Amber, even in the comic books, and she's worse in the TV show, honestly, because she's more fleshed out, and I hate saying that. I think this is a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, DBZ gave it a 7.
It's just one of those run-of-the-mill monster of the week. I'm really getting tired. Let's move with the story.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's part of Invincible is that you have to get through the rough stuff to get there. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see. Like last episode was solid because of freaking Battle Beast, baby. He was all damn. He was awesome. That's what I want to see. More brutality, more stuff like that.
That gave it an 8 out of 10 because Eve is happy.
Okay.
Yeah. Lars gave it. I couldn't care less, and it's a 4 out of 10.
Ooh, rough. That's okay.
Yeah. Tavon gave it an 8 out of 10. Phil said haven't seen it and never read the comics out of 10. Arya gave it a 7. He gave it an 8.
Phil, you get a no star then. You get a no prize because you're
Curtis
here.
Gave it a 7. So yeah.
Dude, I need a Battle Beast t-shirt. Dude, what about I can't spoil it. I was gonna say that.
You want to get a Battle Beast tattoo?
No, I don't like Battle Beast that much. I need dude, I do. I'm gonna get it. It's one of my goals this year. I'm gonna get my first tattoo. I'm in my 40s. It's time to get one. And I think it might be the Starman logo or the brand of the sacrifice. One of those.
Cool.
Now, before we end this episode tonight, can we just speculate what's coming on Winter Soldier, Falcon? Because I'm for serious. It might be the beer talking, but I want to see. I want to hear.
What do you think?
You know what I want to see? Sam on your left, and Steve Rogers in his wheelchair rolling into the scene, baby.
I don't think we're gonna see Cap in this episode.
I didn't say Cap. I said Steve Rogers.
Okay, well, I don't think we'll see Steve Rogers
in on your left.
No, at this point, Lohit's right. Mephisto is not coming, so let's
all you CGC YouTube channels lie to me and said Mephisto was coming.
I think we're gonna see a showdown. I think
it's
gonna be in New York, but I don't think I'm starting to think we're not gonna find out. I think that Batrick is working for Sharon, and he's gonna try to double cross Carly and kill her, and then this is how we're gonna reveal about the power broker. Because he's going to say something like the power broker sends her regards, something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Like the Lannisters. Okay.
And that's how we know Sharon is the power broker. Because like I said, when I found out that they couldn't use her for as much filming as they could because of the COVID and the conflicts of scheduling, that if they wanted to make it, because they want to use her in maybe another season or whatever the case may be, Ralph Boner will return, then...
We need Ralph Boner back.
They're just going to use that. So we'll know, okay, he's saying that it's a she, it's her. So we know that's the power broker. And then, what's going to happen next season, right? Bam. Okay. That's what I think might happen. I think we're finally going to see Sam don his Wakandan Captain America uniform. And
do you think it's gonna have like
wings? No, I hope it doesn't have wings.
Made in Wakanda, like an American flag that's made in China, like made in Wakanda. I really hope it does.
A made in Wakanda. It's gonna have something. I'm sure.
They made it. You better earn it.
So, and I'm sure it's gonna have that. Maybe it'll be like the Black Panther suit, where it can capture in the energy of the pounds it takes, and like who knows? I don't know.
Maybe no, that's Black Panther. We already got that. They just gave him vibranium wings.
No, I hope it's not vibranium wings. I hope it's just the suit's made of ivory, so it's just stronger stuff, so he can kind of take a hit. Anyway,
Iron Man.
Well, no, but but a suit he can fight in, not a suit he's just like. Anyway,
you're so good at charades.
Yes. So then Bucky, of course, I think Bucky's gonna have his moment with that guy from Brooklyn, and it's gonna be cathartic for both of them. Maybe I think that John is going to try to enter the fray.
Hold on. I haven't seen this guy in forever. What's up, Dr. This guy's in Brazil. This is my buddy. Hermano, do you think we'll see U.S. agent name before the end of the series? We kind of saw a little bit of that, right? Remember when he's like making his shield?
We might
see him, dude. It's good to see you, man. Omar's a lightweight. I wish I'd be a cheap date if I was a lightweight. I've been drinking a lot today. It's been a rough day.
Yeah. So
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but then all setting it up, because I just don't see, like, obviously I think John will escape. I don't think they're gonna take him down, but he's gonna escape, or something's gonna happen so that we can set him up for later on. I think Carly's done. I don't see her moving on after this season.
I think she's gonna become a Thunderbolt. Or a younger
No, I don't think she will. But I do see Baron Zemo coming back to play in later seasons.
I mean, Zemo's coming back after that damn meme went. And
they're bringing it back.
Oh, they're bringing Zemo.
They kept him alive and just threw him in Wakanda. At some point, he can escape. He's
gonna be the next White Wolf. They're gonna redeem. Like, he's gonna be good.
God,
he's gonna get his own metal arm.
Anyways, so that's my theory. Anyways.
Oh, I'm okay.
Torres won't become Falcon yet. I think that's going to happen next season. There you go. Go ahead.
That's right. Next time, baby. I can't get enough of that, man. I love that damn thing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's our show for tonight, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean, breaking news?
No, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Not much, but we'll definitely have something for next week, and we'll let you know what we're going to do for Wednesday. So we might be doing a new segment that we've been talking about, but we haven't named it yet. So
we need to name it.
Keeping you on the edge of your seats. We're still working on a name for it, but there's a new segment. Just to give you an idea, it's where we kind of look at movies that had entered the Zeitgeist, whether it be they broke records, maybe they, brought something new about in cinema, and then kind of we got Spriggy Spider-Man news. Did we?
No, Hayden, stop it. You're the
same
person that said that.
Oh, you're talking about that Chinese thing, because the way
what Chinese thing?
The Chinese poster, the way it's what is it? The way it's translated, it says it's not No Way Home, it's Heroes Without a Home. So that's like their low-key way of saying it's going to have other Spider-Man in it without having other Spider-Man in it. I don't know. I haven't read that, Hayden, so I don't know.
All right, what's the breaking news, Hayden? Go ahead.
I haven't read it.
There is a Gundam live action movie, and I cannot believe they're still moving forward with the Cowboy Bebop movie. Like the live action movie. Cowboy Bebop is one of those things that leave it alone, man. It's perfect. Had a beginning, it had an ending, and that's it. Don't make it a movie. Don't make it I didn't even like the manga that was like anyway, it's like Watchmen to me. Like, there's certain things that I think just belong in a certain medium, and just leave it there.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm reading Variety, and he just confirms that he's.
Damn, you are like a fast reader.
Sorry, so he just confirms that he's Doc Ock. He says it's the worst kept secret, and when they asked him how they would bring him back, he just said that in this, the director told him in this universe, no one really dies. So, I mean, we all knew he was going to come back as Doc Ock. I don't think that's...
No, because remember, everybody was, after Ralph Boner, that was a big major tease.
Yeah. So
everybody was like, maybe
Molina
not.
said that Watts had told him that the movie would pick up from his story from the moment in the river, which in the franchise, that includes multiverses, time travel, diverse, all that could be plausible enough. And he said his concerns were practical. He said he's 67. He's aged since the 2004 film. And then he just looked at me and said, did you see what we did with Bob Downey Jr. and Sam Jackson? So that's true. They used CGI to de-age Robert Downey Jr. and then they also de-aged Sam Jackson. So it looks like we're going to have some de-aging of Alfred Molina. So he looked more like, at some point, like the 2004, maybe when he comes into the multiverse is what it looks like we're getting.
Multiverse. That's what Ralph Boner was supposed to be.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have the same physicality that I had 17 years ago. Well, yeah, and he said that,
I don't either.
His
Alfred
arms
Molina.
are doing all the work, so he's not doing much of the stunts. It's like he just looks at the camera or looks at his face, but it's the arms doing all the work.
It sounds like a good deal to me.
So, yeah, so it looks like he's just confirming everything, and it looks like somehow, from at least a story point of view, they're going to bring him back from that moment. So there will be some timelines. Whether or not he still hasn't mentioned, from what I can tell, if Tobey Maguire was on set or anyone like that. But
who was the first person that broke the news that was going to be in Spider-Man 3?
It was him. It was him.
Was it Molina or was it Jamie Foxx?
No, it was Molina, then Fox. Because Molina was first, and everyone was like, awesome. And then we're like, wait, why are we bringing back Electro from Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2? No one really liked that film, and no one really liked that version, but they might do it justice. So,
yeah, they can redeem that whole franchise, man. Justice for Garfield.
Yeah, let's have that.
Tobey Maguire. All right.
So
thank you for the breaking news, Hayden.
Yes, thank you.
Do you believe we'll see Lady Loki? I think we'll see Kid Loki. I think we'll see Lady Loki in the TV show.
Yeah, I think we'll see. I think that one woman, that one actress that we've seen might be a version of Loki. Yeah. So I think we might see. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No chance for Jamie to play Ray Charles.
No, I don't think in this one.
He got an Oscar for that already. He's fine.
Yeah, he played up that pretty hard in the mid 2000s. He did a lot of R&B and stuff. He really played up on that whole thing for a while.
Do we see Thor and Loki?
Well, I bet we'll see like back shots maybe of like his brother and various like old like a body double doing like with just the hair and stuff.
Or his brother. Right, you're right. Like his brother that doesn't act a lot.
Oh, the other
more than we got.
That's great, Hayden. Yes,
this show relies heavily on we got this covered, so we wouldn't. Amanda and I would not have a show if we were not.
Don't make those lies up. Don't tell people these things.
All right, Panda.
All right, so yeah, we'll let y'all know what, if we decide to try our new segment out next week or not, or if we just do another wasn't really that bad, but we'll let you know. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Patreon if you want to support us for $1 a month or more. You get access to Omar every day, all day. He even makes you pancakes. And then if you also want some cool Near Mint Condition merchandise, please make sure to check out our shop on Spreadshop. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint. Good journey, everyone.
Or Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boner.